Play, earn, grow on Haste Arcade.
Micropayments, you're building new business models. You're doing stuff like what we've got going on at Haste with the Instant Leaderboard Payouts. It's something new, and to us, that was just really exciting. So, I mean, I think when we break it down, that's what we're gonna continue to focus on. That's what we think is gonna, in the future, shape like this whole new economy.
Hello everybody, welcome to Hashing It Out. I am your host, Becky Legiro, and I am here today with two special guests from Haste Arcade. But before we get started, I would like to remind you to please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss a future episode of Hashing It Out. So now that we have that out of the way, I would love to introduce my two gentlemen here with me today, Joe DePinto, Ian Duckworth. Welcome, guys. Amazing to see you here in Dubai. Wow. How are you enjoying the event? Loving it.
Yeah, great so far. I mean, learning a lot, meeting a lot of people. Yeah, excellent.
Happy to be back. I'm good to talk to you again, Becky.
I love it. And you guys are on panels and you're talking about all the amazing things happening at Haste Arcade. So this is what we're going to discuss today. We're going to boil it all down for our audience. And what I wanted to talk about first, I know, Joe, you are super passionate about micropayments. When you and I first met each other about a year ago at this time, you told me that this was the whole idea behind launching Haste Arcade, and it was really the best thing about Bitcoin. It really excited you. So tell me how this underpins everything that you are doing at Haste Arcade.
That's why we're here, in my opinion. It was the one piece of blockchain and Bitcoin that myself, it really stood out to me as, this is something new. This is something that, you hear a lot about, oh, blockchain is going to disrupt these industries. We see a lot of like speculation, exchanges, and NFT drops, but that's not really like what's new about that. Whereas micropayments, you're building new business models. You're doing stuff like what we've got going on at Haste with the Instant Leaderboard Payouts. It's something new, and to us, that was just really exciting. So, I mean, I think when we break it down, that's what we're going to continue to focus on. That's what we think is going to, in the future, shape like this whole new economy. And yeah, it's really what psychs us about it.
It's so exciting. And Ian, you and I were on a panel here at this conference, and we talked about micropayments actually for the whole duration of the panel, because this is such an exciting topic. And I wanted to know if you could just add some maybe statistics, some studies you've done, some things that you've learned that kind of show you that micropayments are a better way to monetize, a better way to do things, and why our current model is not quite working in casual games.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one that immediately comes to mind, our partners at Unbounded Capital, in the early days of Haste Arcade, they did a study on the game Flappy Bird. Came out in 2014. It kind of in spirit, I think, matches a lot of the games that we have in Haste Arcade. Simple, controls are very easy to master, and yet it's repeatable. It's just frustrating enough that when you lose, you're like, oh, I want another shot. I want to do it again. And what they found was, actually backing up slightly, it was reported in 2014 that the app was earning about $50,000 a day, which is a lot. To any reasonable person, that sounds great. If I made an app in my spare time that was that simple and it was earning that kind of money, I'd be very happy. But what the folks at Unbounded suspected is that only represented a fraction of like the true value that game was creating. So they did a study and attempted to understand if Flappy Bird had been released on Haste platform, like if the timing somehow added up, what would that look like? And what they found was, in like a worst case scenario where users only paid basically the dust limit, users are playing on basically the lowest tier, not exactly at its peak viralness, they found it would be earning 62,500 a day. So even in the worst case scenario, better than the best that Flappy Bird ever did. And then at its best, at its peak viralness, with a model that was more akin to like different tiers like what we actually have, they predicted it would have earned about $12.8 million per day. And what that says to me is that, the current model with, ad revenue paying up front for the app is just simply inefficient. I would maybe liken it to the nascent days of e-commerce. Like, there was a promise, like you can shop for things online, but it wasn't fully realized yet. And now we're at that point. And does it mean that people were like dumb or incapable before the days of e-commerce? No, the technology just didn't exist. And I look at this very much the same way. We found a better way, and it's simply time to execute on that.
I love this. I mean, you guys are you're making it happen right now, which is what I love. And Ian, I'm going to go actually back to you here because on our panel, you also discussed some numbers, some of the results that you're seeing at Haste. So can you repeat those and share those for our audience here today so we can understand exactly what kind of volume you're seeing, how much money people are spending in micropayments, and what's happening over there?
Yeah, sure. So a few of the stats I threw out. So we have hit over 90,000 registration events. And that's kind of our technical term for a user playing the game and ultimately participating in the arcade. We've had just shy of 300 BSV worth of total volume, which we're really proud of. And one thing that I found to be particularly interesting is that in terms of all the plays that we've had and everything, it wasn't just like one person paying 300 BSVs. It was about 97.5% micropayments, which we defined as less than 0.01 BSV. And so what that means is a large number of users playing a large number of times. And we're really excited about that because that means that we need to scale. Users are participating, they are going out. It's like the model is good, we're executing, so it's time to get out more towards a mainstream audience and really, really build out our user base.
Yes, I love that. And I know that you guys have a partnership with BBG, Built by Gamers, and this is also going to help you get in front of so many more people. Joe, can you talk to us a bit about that partnership and where you think this is going to be taking you guys real soon?
So BBG saw the value of micropayments to drive fan engagement. And their entire platform is built on, how can we get people who are viewing our streamers to keep coming back, to engage further with our streamers? What can we give them? And so they came to us. They're basically like, we understand what you're doing with these ILPs, these leaderboard payouts. What we want to do is start promoting your games to our viewers. Obviously, like there's referral incentives and whatnot. Anytime you refer somebody to the arcade, you're going to get a small portion of their gameplays. But in essence, what they found was, okay, if we have our streamers talking about this, the conversion of the people that are watching those streamers to actually go and then play those games is like close to 40%. Whereas typical conversion rates, I think Tyler from BBG was telling us, was like 2% if one of their streamers is promoting, another product or something like that. So in essence, they've got, this whole team, or they got several teams. So Valorant, Call of Duty, Halo Infinite, and the last one I think is Fortnite is their 4 teams. They're getting about 10 million views per month across all those different streamers playing. So what they did was they started real small. They took a handful that we actually, we sent out a couple surveys, learned about their gamers a little bit, who's interested in crypto, who doesn't have any idea, who thinks that their following would be interested in this type of thing. And they started running these little tournaments. So they took a couple of our games. They said, hey, come play against me. So I'm the streamer now, further engaging with my audience. Now the people who are watching this are like, wow, I actually get to compete against Noah Plays or Malibu or whatever the streamers' names are. And then they're showing them, hey, so-and-so is number 1 on the leaderboard for this jump tournament that we're hosting. And these tournaments lasted a week. But again, they're driving engagement with their fans, and it keeps their fans coming back and watching them more often. I want to get a shout out from Malibu. I want to get a shout out from Noah Plays and see my name on the top of that leaderboard, see my name on this stream that thousands of other people are watching now. So in essence, that's what was the first step with our partnership with them and getting them to promote the games. They're going to open it up to the rest of their streamers, and from our perspective, we're getting thousands and thousands of eyeballs now, going back to what Ian was saying about let's get some mainstream people now into the arcade and see how the real world likes this instant leaderboard payout technology. So that's where we're at with them. It's really exciting, and the results we've seen so far are pretty cool.
That's so cool. I love it. And I know that you guys internally are also doing quite a bit for fan engagement and to increase your numbers. I know that Ian, you revealed that you are working on collectibles and things here. You revealed this at the conference. Can you talk about the collectibles feature and what we can expect from that at Haste Arcade?
Yeah, absolutely. So our collectibles feature, simply put, are various in-game assets, ways to kind of enhance the gameplay experience, minted as NFTs. And the idea there is you can buy them, you can trade them the exact same way you would with an NFT. But going back to Jimmy's opening, he said, certain NFTs that people might, talk poorly about don't add a lot of value. Well, we want to do the opposite. They do add value. You can buy a skin for the game that you like. It makes it very aesthetically pleasing. If you're a streamer, that can help you drive engagement, get new fans, things like that. Some of them are just tied to your account, but some are minted as NFTs, and then, they're able to be resold.
Cool, cool, cool.
I
know he wants to say something. Go ahead.
I want to get a little bit deeper into that because we think the collectibles are a huge deal for multiple reasons. Ian touched on like the utility of these NFTs. And again, that goes back to like micropayments. My original fascination with this and Dan's original fascination was what utility can a blockchain provide? So Ian's hitting on the collectibles that are coming out for the games that we currently have, Jump, Lost. You're gonna be able to buy different ships or different balls within Jump. Something I'm personally excited about, like my background's in baseball. And I think a lot of people have talked about the idea of taking like a physical item and then creating an NFT for it, but it stops there. It's like, well, where's the utility of that? So what we're actually doing, this is gonna be coming out, it might have already come out actually, but the game that we're building is called Monster Bombs. So it's a baseball themed game. And in essence, you'll be able to, Ian's wearing a Haste Arcade jersey. You'll be able to purchase one of these jerseys, wear it in real life, but then get an NFT with that and assign it or equip it on your player in that actual game. So to our knowledge, this is the first time you're gonna be able to actually buy something, use it in real life, use it in the digital world. And you can also apply this across multiple games, which is the next step, I think, of the utility. So yeah, in Monster Bombs, you can wear the Haste Arcade jersey. Say the next game we release is a first-person shooter. I don't know why you'd be wearing a Haste jersey in a first-person shooter, but you could apply it there as well. So we think that's the direction that the space should go, and that's what we're pushing for with the utility of this.
So cool. And I love, by the way, my Haste jersey for working out.
Well, actually, so there is a story behind that. You'll be able to apply that too to these games. So that
I
was
remember the note you said.
That's why, yeah, we created NFTs for those as well. So there was a long-term vision to what we wanted to get to, and now, coming soon is here.
Oh my God, I love that, because when I was first talking with you about this, Joe, this was Zurich, June 2021, and now, it's here. It's not as soon anymore, yes. The other thing I wanted you to talk about, Joe, is loyalty tokens.
We have our own Haste token, which people play a game. It's just like a similar arcade. You go, you play, whether you make a leaderboard or not, you get tickets that you can cash out at a prize board. That's what we're doing currently with our tokens. You can cash them out for actual BSV or for things like, the jerseys are unique, so I don't think you'll be able to buy those with tokens. But in essence, I think that's just a great starting point for any real business to get into blockchain. And a lot of people talk about the gaming industry. That's where they think blockchain is going to make its first appearance in the mainstream. I was in Las Vegas, and you go to these casinos, they have their MGM points, you have your Caesar's Palace points. And I'm just thinking like, yeah, this is cool, but what if like I want to go to the pool at the Encore or the Wynn because they have the best pool parties, but the best food is over at MGM Grand and the best rooms are over at whatever Caesar's. How come I can't like exchange my points? And I just think it's such a simple like jump off spot for most businesses. You create your own token, and now you have these things that you can exchange. You have, okay, I have 1 million Caesars tokens, I have 2 million Wynn tokens. I want to go to the party at the Wynn, so I'm going to exchange some of my Caesars tokens into the Wynn instead of having to go and actually just purchase a regular ticket. So personally, for me, I think loyalty tokens, you're going to start to hear a lot about that in the next year or so as more and more companies get aware of this type of technology, and not as much the speculative nature, but more like, hey, there's things you can actually do with this. So that's what, again, with Haste, we're trying to create things that make it really simple to understand the utility of like blockchain. And that's where I see loyalty tokens at least kind of kicking off in the next little bit here.
Love it. Sounds so exciting. And the other cool thing about what you guys are doing is you've created a developer SDK. It's actually very easy for game developers to get on board with what you are talking about. So Ian, can you just give us the quick rundown on the SDK and tell us how very easy it is for developers to get games involved?
Yeah, I would definitely say it is easy to use. I never want to downplay what can be a difficulty for some developers, just with the fact that we recognize this is a new stream of revenue and there can be hangups and things like that. So we do have an SDK that makes connecting to Handcash very easily, getting users signed up, and then ultimately interacting with our ILP platform. We want to make it as seamless as possible for developers. Again, knowing that if you're a third-party developer, you're really putting yourself out there and ultimately having to do things very differently. So we have, I think, 3 right now, one for Unity, one for Godot, and one for Phaser 3, just different game engines. And we would support any game engine, but the idea would be if a game developer wanted to use an engine we don't support, we would just work with them to create an SDK and then open source it just with the rest of them. That would just be better for everybody. Then anybody else who wants to come later can benefit from that. And then additionally, another hang up we'll frequently see is that we have to take pretty extraordinary measures compared to like more casual, like just browser-based games to ensure that things are fair, that things are secure, that users aren't cheating. That would undermine the entire system. So for third-party developers out there, we'll work with you. If this is challenging, if it's difficult, like we get it. We've struggled through that ourselves, so reach out to us, let us know.
Love it. Really, really cool. And I think most of the audience here knows that I come from the online gambling industry, and you guys know this too because I've told you before. And there is some crossover between online gambling and the gaming world, and I think online gambling companies sometimes are looking for something new to show their players, something to gamify the experience. Just wondering what kind of interest you're seeing from potentially someone that's more on the gambling side, and if you see opportunity with partnering, working together in that area. So Joe, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, we've actually had a couple, call them influencers, content creators, whatever you want to say, reach out to us. Basically, they see the concept. It's like, okay, people are gaming, they're earning from that. They're staking a little bit of money to possibly earn more. I think my audience would be very interested in something like that. So us particularly, there's one that's standing out, Never Split Tens. They get a couple, tens of thousands of views per video they put out, one a week. And he just reached out to us, the guy behind all this, and he's like, hey, I really love this concept. I think my audience would eat it up. Do you guys have any interest in, promoting to more gambling interested people, even though you're skill-based games? So yeah, I think there's a lot of crossover between what we're doing and actual gambling. The difference obviously is like right now our games are skill-based, but like if you're gambling, what's wrong with also playing games where you can earn money from? So I think that, as time goes on, we'll get more and more of that. I know that we have kind of like a longer term vision, the same way that last year we were talking about things you can do with NFTs and sending out these shirts with the NFTs and all that. I think, maybe a year or so from now, we'll actually start looking at, aside from just doing the skill-based games, can we get into the actual casino type environment? And then more influencers, obviously, would probably be interested in that as well. But we've already seen, like I said, a couple people have reached out saying, hey, my audience is going to love this concept. Like, how can we start working together? And that's another place where we were talking about loyalty tokens just now. That's something that, I gave the casino example, but that's just another avenue. There's this term, do you want to make money or do you want to create money? And if you're, doing stuff where you're risking a little bit to start earning more, I think it ties into that specific person who's interested in, I guess you call it, gambling. So yeah, to tie that all together, I definitely see that as something that's going to be big for us in the future, working with these types of influencers. And we're learning right now a lot from BBG and have some pretty cool stats to show them as well.
Oh my God. I honestly think you guys are on the brink of like a serious explosion. I really do. And as I said on our panel, complete props to you guys, because in less than 1 year, what you have accomplished is absolutely amazing. So keep that up. And I just wanted to know if there's anything else that you wanted to add to let our audience know before we close out today about what's happening at Haste. Ian, I'll start with you. You don't have to say anything, but feel free to throw something out there if you want.
Yeah, thank you for including us in this. It's been great to get to speak with you, the panel that we did together and then this interview here. Definitely appreciate that. This is still fairly new for me, so still getting used to it. But yeah, it's been great. So yeah, thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Joe, anything you want to say?
I'm excited about the collectibles, but more so, I was here about a year ago and I was kind of the new kid on the block, or Haste was the new kid on the block at that point. To come back here this year and see how many more people, obviously COVID had something to do with that, but also the convention side of things and seeing actual companies here presenting like new ideas, stuff that, I think we've probably heard about in general in the crypto space, but now seeing people actually putting it to use. Obviously it's being done on BSV. That's what excites me, is that, Haste is great, but let's get 100 more Hastes. Let's get 100 more people and entrepreneurs actually using this technology. And it just seems like you've already said, a year ago, it was here, now we're here. Where are we gonna be next year? Like it's gonna be insane.
Yay, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Have the best time in Dubai, and I will see you at the next one. And thank you guys so much for watching Hashing It Out. Again, I'm your host, Becky Legiro. Thanks for watching CoinGeek.com.
Imagine going to your local arcade, inserting a quarter into the game, and posting a high score on the leaderboard. And then, everyone who comes after you and fails to beat your high score, you get a portion of their quarter every time. Now imagine placing that high score on a global leaderboard where millions of daily players are fighting for your top spot. This is a game changer. This is Haste Arcade. Jump in right now and play across multiple modern arcade-style games, earning cash instantly deposited to your hand cash wallet. Let's introduce Player Cards, the world's first output NFT. You can mint your own and gather others, from friends to top players. For any player card you hold, you earn a portion of each gameplay output. This is a Haste token. Earn them daily just for playing. They can be used to purchase things like prizes, player cards, and more. Trade them on exchanges or simply redeem them for cash. This is the next gen of gaming. Play, earn, grow on Haste Arcade.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Bitcoin 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Hashing It Out. For more from the show, click here. For more from the CoinGeek channel, click here. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you do not miss any future shows from the CoinGeek channel.